Hello and welcome to this month's reading journal video. Today I'm filling out almost all of the books that I read in October in one session. I had a crazy busy month in terms of work, social events and a Korean proficiency exam, so I didn't read as much as I was planning to. Despite that, we did cross the 100 books read in 2025 mark, and I also marked off some of my progress towards my other goals for this year. However, it is looking less and less likely that I will finish any of them, unfortunately. I'm trying to tell my type A brain that it is okay and progress in these goals is good progress, but it's not working very well. I, and the Google search that I did, am counting A Little Life and The Vegetarian as modern classics, and therefore books that can count towards my classics goal. I purchased Mate cheekily in Big W the day before release because they often go out early there, and I'm still waiting on Emily Wilde 3 to release in the smaller size that 1 and 2 are so that they can match on my shelf. This right page is doing a lot better than the left page at having more variation in book spine colour and not just being all yellow and red. I didn't start any series this month, and I caught up with one series and continued another, so I'm proud of myself for that one. I also spent some time just looking through this spread and making sure all the series were up to date with books that have been announced to actually exist. I don't want to talk about my inability to get out of my comfort zone with countries this year. Despite being very busy this month, I still kept my streak of reading every day going, with the lowest number of page read this month still 11 pages, which was just the length of one chapter of the book I was reading at the time. It was crazy to me at the time during the start of the month, but also looking back on it now, that it took me until October 14th to finish one book for this month, but I did have 3 quite chonky books on the go at that time. This definitely will ruin my average time to read stat that I keep on my end of month stats page. While I know the celebrity trope usually tends to be like a fan or a normal everyday person falling in love with a celebrity and all the dramas that go along with that, Sounds Like Love still had enough of the types of scenes in it for me to count it for this bingo. I also think I'm going to have to actively look for books starting with these last 3 letters in November because I really want to finish this. Moving on to the October section, and wow, 4 TBR books done, look at me go. I definitely didn't write this TBR while reading 2 of them with a 3rd confirmed to start next. I learnt from last month of not pre-planning and getting stuck with having a book sitting awkwardly in the date section, so I'm figuring out how I'll do it now. Despite typically having a book span that whole box of a date that it started or ended, my solution to overcome this issue and avoid using the date section of the box, as you will see, is for that date to only use half a box for the end of Jane Eyre and the other half to start A Little Life. It's not perfect, but it's better than what happened in September. With that all up to date, let's move on to the review pages. I have set this up a few times on camera and it's hard to do well keeping it in frame, so I'm just cutting it out quite a lot in this video. If you want to see how I set up this spread, even though as you can see I've done it slightly different to normal on accident, I would suggest watching my August setup video. My best friend turned 30 this month, and for her birthday gift I decided to read her favourite book and annotate it with my thoughts. Unfortunately for me, she couldn't pick her favourite from 3, so 3 Women, which I read last month, and these next 2 books I all completely read and annotated in time for her birthday party. Probably not my wisest idea during the busiest work period of the year for me, and with an exam the same day as her party, but it definitely was a good experience and she really loved the gift, so it was worth it. This first book for October is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I definitely thought this was a romance book, so was rudely awakened when it took about 200 pages for her to even meet the MMC, just to leave him again not that long after. Despite that, I really actually quite enjoyed it and appreciated how strong-willed and unapologetic Jane was, especially given the time period this book is set in and the expectations of women at that time. I gave it 4 stars. The last book for my friend's gift was A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. She's an absolute psycho for choosing this book as one of her favourites, but it has been on my TBR for a very long time and I've always been intrigued about the wildly different things I've seen people say about it all over the internet. My main tip is don't read it in public if you are over 1/3 of the way through and don't want to cry at the club or on the metro train. There's not too much I can say about the story as the plot revolved around 4 friends and basically their entire adult lives, but you learn a lot about their relationships both within the group and with others around them. It sure was a very big life with very big feelings, and I see why she loves it. 4.75 stars. While reading these 2 books for the gift, I was also reading these next 2 books for my own pleasure, the first being the second book in the Chronicles of Castellane series by Cassandra Clare, The Rag Picker King. This book shocked me because Cassandra Clare writing any sort of intimate scene between characters will always feel wrong to me when Jace and Clary would just hold hands under the doona in bed. But I really enjoy the 2 characters that are the main POVs of this series, as well as the main and extra side characters, and spent a lot of time in the book trying to figure out what was going to happen, only to some mild success, which I like when that happens. Unfortunately for me and anyone else reading this series, the 3rd book isn't coming out until like 2027 after Cassandra releases another book from another series she is writing, so I'm definitely bound to forget everything that's happened by then, which is my pet peeve of reading unfinished series, but I still gave this book 4 stars. Then, mostly while at the gym on the treadmill, I was reading the second book in the Bewitched series by Laura Thalassa, Be Spelled. I continued to really enjoy the familiar but original fantasy world of this series, and it managed to keep me on my toes and not drag the plot, which is unfortunately sometimes a bit rare for second books in a series. There was a plot twist that I obviously can't talk about without spoiling book 1 that I was very worried would happen in this book, and it sort of did, however, in a way that I enjoyed and could appreciate the writing and artistry of without getting mad at the plot. The FMC is very strong in herself, which I always like to see, with her and the MMC constantly saving each other, not her just being a damsel in distress during every climactic point of the plot. I did enjoy it, but there was nothing particularly special to give it more than 3.75 stars, but I can't wait for book 3. Now, because it's so late in the month when I'm completing this session, I know I will only finish 1 more book this month, so to avoid too much blank space and pain, I am going to revert to the smaller 3 reviews per page design for these next reviews. Again, not showing the whole setup, but it should also be in that August setup video, as I used a mixture of these layouts in July as well. Because I wanted a short book to read after 4 absolute chonkers, I grabbed The Vegetarian by Hung Kang. I didn't feel as stupid after reading this as I did with the White Book last month, however, still feel quite dumb. I did find the overall plot very interesting and shocking in many different aspects, however, the ending got me very confused in the way that I felt like there was some subliminal meaning or something in the last page that my brain knew was there but had no chance of figuring out. If anyone has read this book and has insight into what they think the overall messaging of this book was, I would love to discuss it down in the comments so I can figure it out myself. Despite this, I really enjoyed the book when I could understand it, giving it 4 stars. Our last book for this session, and book 100 of the year, sadly, I wish it was something better, was Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. Ashley writes magical realism into every book she writes, which is very interesting and breaks up what is otherwise a quite normal romance book. However, unfortunately, it was probably the most interesting part of this book and was solved well before the end. She also triggered the hell out of me because, as you will know if you have watched any of my reading journal videos before, I hate the miscommunication trope, and I've learnt while listening to this on my drive to work that I hate it even more when I have to listen to it rather than read it with my eyes. Because of that, sadly, a book that I was enjoying ended up being only 3.5 stars, and that's probably me being nice, TBH. But now on to session 2 with 1 book and our November setup. My favourite part of this page is adding the break between months. It's so interesting to see the different block sizes of each month and just a nice way to look at all my books. binding seems like it might sort of be coming apart a little bit on this page, which is slightly worrying. Hopefully it holds up until the end of the year at least. Another month complete of reading every single day. I also completed no romance trope bingos or alphabet challenge letters with this one book. This book took a while to read, but I was reading it slower on purpose because I wanted it to last the rest of the month, so I didn't feel pressured to finish another book. I had already planned out the review layout for this month, and that hinged on me only finishing this one more book. The last book of October is The Curse That Binds by Laura Thalassa. This is book 2.5 of the Bewitched series, which is a prequel to the main series. Despite being sort of marked as a novella, it is a 500-page full-length book. You don't have to read it to understand the main series. However, I don't regret doing this, as I got a lot more insight into the main characters of the series in a different way from how it's written normally. There is basically nothing else I can say about the book that doesn't spoil things that you learn during the main series, unfortunately. There was some repetition in this book of scenes you have already encountered, but it wasn't a large percentage and only mainly at the very end, so I didn't mind it. Quite enjoyed it overall, giving it 4 stars. Now that the reviews are done, it's time to finish up October with the stats pages. I'm still flipping back to previous months to remember the layout of this page, however, it was definitely quicker than previous months to complete. I do always end up slightly changing the order I enter information, placing the covers in while setting up this time. My favourite book of the month was A Little Life with 4.75 stars, and my least favourite was Sounds Like Love at 3.5 stars. We got an average rating of 4 stars for October overall. I read 4 out of 6 of my October TBR, and my average time to read was 10.9 days, which is 3 times longer than last month and around 2 times longer than usual. However, I was reading a lot of books at the same time this month, with reading up to 4 different books in one day once, so I understand why this number is so inflated. Most months I'm usually only reading 1, maybe 2 books at a time, and even then that's only if I'm reading a physical book, because I then need a different book to read on the treadmill at the gym. I hate the months I read an odd amount of books as well, as it makes these pie graphs really awkward to calculate and get the slices at least slightly accurate looking. I technically read Sounds Like Love both as a physical book and the audiobook, however I forgot that when completing the format pie chart, so I just don't have it as audio in there. trying to set up the decorations the same way as the start of a month page, I did run into a slight issue where this PET tape couldn't quite fit underneath the pie graph. But it worked out okay. I just had to tear out another little piece of the fat end so it didn't cover the graph, and luckily the extra piece did fit back onto the page without it looking too weird so that it didn't go to waste. Really like how this stats page turned out, both as being the same theme as the start of the month page, but also as a design within itself. Now let's head back to the yearly tracking pages to update for October before we set up for November. A Little Life is pretty middle of the road on my yearly book bracket, outranking 3 books, being beat by 4 books, and tying with 2 others. I am getting a bit apprehensive of how the end of the year numbers are going to go and how many ties we're going to end up with on the rankings, and how I will then decide who places higher. That's a future me problem. My overall October stats, I read 7 books, 3,458 pages, all 31 days of the month, 1 translated book, authors from 3 different countries, and had no 5-star reads, rereads, 25s in 2025, alphabet challenge letters, or overall goals complete. With all of that done, let's move on to setting up November, all ready to go for this month. I didn't really have a plan of design or theme going into this, however, when looking through all my stationery, it has ended up a very pink and cutesy theme. Using my pink Tombow over pencil always makes the end result a bit darker and dirtier than the natural colour of it, but it isn't the end of the world and it worked okay. Just realised here that I forgot to do my usual curved corners. I think I just wasn't paying much attention as I should have been, because as well as not remembering to do that, I also then crinkle and tear the page while erasing the pencil marks. It wasn't a huge issue that meant I should get rid of this page and start again. However, I did still consider doing that because I am very much type A and hate errors. I saved this brown paper from a gift or something because I knew it would work well in my journal at some point, and so I'm glad I finally got to use it for a theme. I didn't have a plan of how I was using it at the time, so I just made tears as I was going and it turned out looking nice. Decided to use more of it for my TBR section, as it is how I usually stylize my TBR anyway, so it worked well. I have quite a few books on my TBR this month, but I really want to finish my 25 in 2025 before the end of the year, and I have 11 books left on it, so I really want to hustle this month with it. typically just write down the day of the week, which is why I made my usual row for it. However, when looking through this Rosie Posy sticker book, I really liked these pink day stickers, so decided to use them even though it made the thin day row look a little awkward. This pen was also a lot brighter pink than I was aiming for, but it didn't turn out too terribly once everything else was placed on the page. When I bought both of these cat PET tapes, I had no idea how I would use any of them in my journal, but they worked well in this theme and I love cats, so I'm glad I found a way to use them here. This month I enjoyed just grabbing random stickers here and finding a place to put them. It felt very peaceful and not too stressful trying to overthink where to put everything and what sticker I would choose. The Regency Cat PET tape has stickers designed to be like edge pieces, so I used one of them to cover the tear I made when erasing and try and avoid it getting worse at the same time. I had 2 different PET tapes tear when taking them off the roll setting up this spread, which was pretty annoying, but luckily they weren't too difficult to fix up. They aren't really noticeable tears unless you look like very close. One final piece, and now we are ready to turn back to October and have a look at all the spreads we have completed in this video. I had fun doing a more themed style decoration for October and definitely don't regret it, even though I didn't use my reading journal very much this month. I also think I will continue doing a mixture of these larger review spreads and the smaller ones that fit 3 per page, especially when I have books that I don't want to decorate as much or don't have any stationery that quite fits. Because it's the end of the year, I am thinking a lot about what I will do for my 2026 reading journal, and I think I learnt a lot about what I like during October. I also really enjoyed doing a more cutesy theme for this month. While it wasn't my usual main style I like to use in my journal, I do like using it sometimes to break things up and have a bit of fun. If you enjoyed this reading journal video, check out October's video where I talk about the 14 books I read in September and set up the spooky start of month page you've seen in this video. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!